Many scientists, myself included, have long been fascinated by animals emitting light from their bodies, a phenomenon known as bioluminescence. This is usually caused by a chemical reaction, either when under attack or while trying to attract a mate. Through our previous research, we believe that bioluminescence in fish was made by the fish themselves. To produce the light, they needed a specific molecule, luciferin, and an enzyme closely related to it, which forces the molecule to act in this way. We thought that the fish produced these two components internally and independently. However, some of our more recent research has shown that, in fact, one species of fish essentially steals these components from its prey and does not produce either of them itself. Rather than self-production, the fish extracts the necessary ingredients during digestion. The fact that the enzyme and molecule are not destroyed during the digestive process has surprised us the most. Although this is a breakthrough in biological science, we still have a lot more to discover to fully understand bioluminescence in fish.
The conventional theory of the Big Bang is that the universe started between 13 and 14 billion years ago. What has generally been accepted is that there was a very hot and dense group of particles, and this group filled all of space, at least all of space as we know it. And then the particles expanded quickly. Scientists believe that this expansion was relatively even throughout space. Thanks to findings from the Planck satellite, we can now be more precise about the age of the universe. We can be confident that the universe is around 13.82 billion years old. Research and analysis have helped us to better understand what the Big Bang was, and we can be quite sure that it actually happened. However, what we don't know is whether the universe really began with the Big Bang, or if it existed in some form before the Big Bang. There is evidence to suggest that the explosion was not necessarily the beginning of existence, but rather just the start of our local universe. This line of thinking describes our observable local universe as a pocket universe, within a never-ending amount of dense material that existed long before, for some reason, the Big Bang happened.
So, from this research, psychologists developed a theory about how emotions depend on both cognitive factors, the way that we understand our social surroundings, and on physiological factors, the physical changes caused by the nervous system. From their studies, this theory was developed. A stimulus initiates the physiological response, and at the same time, the stimulus is interpreted in the brain and takes into account previous experiences of similar situations. The brain produces the actual emotion that we experience, and the nervous system produces the degree to which the emotion is felt. So, emotion is a mixture of both cognitive and physiological factors. The studies also found that the mood of an individual sometimes matches that of another. If one person was angry, their associates would get angry. But if that person was euphoric, others too would start to become happier.
Currently, over a third of the world's landfill sites comprise construction and demolition waste. This is what is generated when buildings are constructed or demolished, or when infrastructure is built. This has led to calls for the industry to minimize waste and become more resource efficient. To reduce the amount of waste ending up in landfill after demolition, circular construction aims to convert building components that are nearing the end of their service life into resources for others. The reuse, recycling, repair, and remanufacturing of materials, coupled with policy measures, regulation, and investment, should ensure the construction industry
In the US, each plastic container has a number printed onto it. These numbers show the type of plastic used, and they let people know how to recycle the plastic. However, plastic remains one of the main sources of pollution in our oceans and food chain. Finding out exactly what to do with used plastic can be difficult, and many consumers simply don't know what the different numbers indicate.
Many societies have created the idea that it is common for women to use makeup. For example, female actors who choose to go out without makeup in their daily lives become the subject of discussion online, even when they're not at work when they're photographed. That may not be surprising, as the film industry has always valued beauty. But a study recently showed that women who work in other industries have experienced similar treatment. They found that in job interviews, interviewers made judgments on the ability of women based on their use of makeup. Because of this importance given to makeup, it's no longer just a personal choice for many women.
Cultural anthropology is the study of human societies, cultures, and their emergence around the world. Its focus is enculturation and socialization, as well as practices and faith systems in different regions. One of the first anthropologists in this field proclaimed that there is no direct relationship between culture and race, as his ethnographical research began to illustrate. Over the years, this branch of anthropology has adopted the idea of cultural relativism.
In certain countries, the use of animals in advertisements is conventional. There is one obvious reason for this. The attention of many groups of people can be exploited by the use of animals. Dogs appear very often because of their popularity, and they are the animal most often found in the home in many countries. An image of a puppy can be enough to boost trust in a brand, no matter what original message the marketing company wanted to communicate. The idea that a brand doesn't take itself too seriously is immediately suggested when a dog is shown driving a car. There are many ways that marketing managers have taken advantage of our love of pets.
So, as we continue to look at the history of some of the most groundbreaking innovations, I'll start today with a brief history of the bicycle. It's difficult to pinpoint the first invention of a bicycle-like machine, and there are several historic claims to be considered. I think the earliest representation of one is found in a collection of Leonardo da Vinci's drawings dating from the 15th and 16th century. The sketch of the two-wheeled wooden machine was thought to be done by one of da Vinci's apprentices in 1534, and although this claim lacks substantial evidence, we do know many of the drawings in the collection are attributed to people other than da Vinci himself, as at that time he had a large number of assistants who worked on developing his ideas as well as adding their own inspiration. That said, many people do nonetheless maintain that the sketch is an authentic Da Vinci, and they have rejected the claims of a historian who declared it was a fraud in 1998.
Setting aside regular meal times helps with time management.
Most current smart devices routinely gather location data.
Subsistence farming aims to yield sufficient produce to satisfy local requirements.